good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our midweek edition, our Wednesday edition to Detroit in Black and White. Gosh, Eric, it's just you and I right now on.
Where he go that
Adolph
quick?
isn't here, Allan isn't here. We don't know if Adolph is going to join or not. But if you are watching Detroit in Black and White, we want you to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Good evening, Felicia Dean. Good evening, Edward Altman. Thank you so much for joining us in Detroit Black and White. This evening, we have on deck Mr. Eric Brown.
Good evening.
Good evening. You sounded a little bit corrupted, Eric, so you might want to leave out and come back in. And we also have Jim Nardone. Good evening, Jim. How are you?
Good evening. Doing fine. Thank you, Vanessa.
Yes.
I'm moving around a little bit to make sure I'm still there because I was fading out. So
Yeah. Say. So anyway, so the big news today, I know one of the things that we've talked about is the fireworks. Adolph keeps saying, hey, he wants to see the fireworks, and it looked like we're gonna have some fireworks as it relates to the mayoral Detroit mayoral race. Did you see that text stream that was sent out?
I did.
What
So
are
they're
your
going to have
thoughts?
a forum.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of names that aren't on that forum. Maybe they're.
Name what are the couple of names that's not informed, which is interesting.
I didn't
Hey,
see.
Sam. Go ahead.
I didn't see James Craig's name on there. Was he on that list?
I think he was. Let me see. I'm gonna go back and look. Yep, is the one that's coming up April the 26th.
Yes. Who's on the
Who's
list?
on there? Mary Sheffield, Todd Perkins, James Craig, Santil Jenkins, Fred Durhall, and Mr. Barlow.
Mr. Barlow.
Yep, Adolph is calling. You go ahead and keep talking. Let me see.
So who's missing? I'm
Reverend Kinlock.
Go ahead and take. I'm interested to talk about the amusement tax that a couple of the state senators are starting to propose.
Okay. All right, I'll log back in. But yeah, it's fingers crossed he doesn't appear. Fingers crossed he doesn't appear. What time and where? Oh, so the mayoral forum is April the 26th, 2025, noon to 3 p.m. So that's this Saturday. And the confirmed candidates, Mary Sheffield, Councilwoman Mary Sheffield, Councilman Fred Durhall, the Honorable Santil Jenkins, Attorney Todd Perkins, former police chief James Craig, and business owner Jonathan Barrow. So the people that are missing would be, who is it? It would be Reverend Kinlock, right? It
Yes.
will also be
Kinlock is confirmed for that event.
For the one that I just read, the one that's coming up Saturday.
The one Saturday, he's not on here. Neither is that John
Hain, right? That neither one of them are on. So, which I find interesting. That doesn't mean it was not going to change. One of our viewers says where, and I'm looking on here to see. They want you to register virtually. Hey, Queen Bee, where is this forum? Eric,
they want you to register virtually, and then those that are invited will get the information on where it's at. And if you're not invited to be there in person, they give you a link to.
So I don't know, you guys, if our viewers even got this, and I don't know if you will even see it on my phone, but this is what it looks like for you guys. It doesn't. Edward, you're asking me where? It doesn't say where. There's a scan. There's a where you can scan to find out where it is.
The QR code. That's just a register though.
It said limited seating, virtual option available. Scan QR code for virtual. That's just for virtual registration. But I think it's interesting. It doesn't have what was sent to me. It doesn't tell me where it is.
Go ahead, Eric.
Because when you go online to register, then you get a response telling you that you will get an email if you're invited to participate in person.
Well, that's kind of crummy if you ask me. That's kind of elitist. Why don't they have it at Little Caesars Arena at Hart Plaza or somewhere like that where the people that want to go can be involved? I mean, you're limiting. What's wrong with the Fox Theater? If there's more than 5,000 people want to go there, then they won't get in. I don't really get that. That's not a very good start, if you ask me.
You know, I get where it says that is limited seating, but I agree with you, Jim. Listen, you're running for the mayor of the city of Detroit. People are waiting to see the candidates. You have 6 of 9 candidates because there's actually 9 candidates for mayor. There's a lady that I'm not familiar with her. That Mr. Haynes, he was a couple of years ago, and it's one more person. Hello, Jill. But I do think you're right, Jim. It's kind of crummy because it's almost as if it's being held. It's not secretly, but it's almost as if it is because I don't understand why you have to go through all of this. Like you said, it should be at Little Caesars Arena or some open place where anybody who wants to come can come. Now, I'm not saying that they're not saying that anybody cannot come, but the way it's been rolled out, that certainly seems like that's what it is.
So you want the people
to also ask you.
Go ahead.
When you register, it asks you who invited you, and it also asks you whether or not you are a precinct delegate.
So who's controlling the event is the question, I think.
Yeah, who's doing? Yeah,
the African American Leadership, United Precinct Delegates, and Supermajority. That's what's on the flyer.
Yeah, it is. Supermajority, United Precinct Delegates, and African American Leadership Institute. I don't know who those people are or who belongs to those institutes. Edward Altman says he wants to attend, but he'll be at work. I can do it virtually or visually or virtually. Yeah, but you have to. Marlon says it should be an outdoor venue. But yeah, I guess you will have to register. But if you don't have the QR code, I don't know how that's going to happen. Have you registered, Eric?
Yeah, that's how I found out. Yeah, the questions that they asked you. They asked you about being a precinct delegate, then they asked you who invited you.
Well, I'm getting ready to register while y'all talk.
Oh, you have to tell them who invited you before you can sign up? That's interesting.
Yeah, they asked, one of the questions that they asked, who invited you?
What did you say? What did you say?
God.
You said what?
God. God. G-O-D.
G-O-D. Okay. All right. I'm getting ready to register while y'all talk because I want to see how this goes here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
They're asking for your vote, but they restrict their access
to me.
To them. That's
awfully strange.
And I got it today. I'm not sure how long it's been out there, but I got it today.
Did you get it in your email? I didn't check my email. Did you get an email or did you get it
to me?
Somebody sent it to me. So what you sent me, can I use that QR code to register?
Yeah, that's a registration. Yeah, anybody, you can use.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can do that.
And see, people have to remember, one of the things that people need to understand, 2021, for the primary election, only 14% of the electorate came out in August of 2021. The general election in November 2021 was not much better. Only 18% of the electorate came out. So that just goes to show, whoever galvanized their base the most will end up in the part of the final two.
Yeah, but I think there's a bigger question. The question is, why don't they want the electorate to be involved in the process? Because that's what it appears like to me with this forum.
Well, Queen B may have answered your question, Jim. She said they don't want to be embarrassed when they cannot answer the damn questions.
Yeah, and Miss Sheila says that behavior. Look at that behavior because they don't want the voters.
I agree with
listen, to me, you want to. This is how I look at it. If they're asking you who invited you, listen. I agree with you, Eric. God, I am a voter. I'm an interested party. I am vested in the city of Detroit. Why do I have to answer all these questions? I want to hear what you guys have to say. And so, to me,
like she said, they're interested in the delegates to attend.
Yeah. So listen, you start, and I don't know who I'm not blaming the candidates for this because they're not the ones that organized it. But I would have a
But
question
no,
for
Vanessa, I disagree. I
huh?
disagree because the candidates, once they find out the conditions to come, the candidates need to speak up and say everybody's allowed to come.
And maybe they will because you know they watch this show.
I like Marlon's comment. Marlon,
Marlon
we're glad you're with us tonight, Marlon.
right.
You thought the Dems didn't care about ID and voting. He's got a good point.
Right. Miss Sheila said we all are stakeholders, and I agree. So Eric, you're going. I haven't registered yet because
I don't know if I'm going. They might be offended by me saying God invited me.
So let me ask you this: after you registered, because you registered, then did they send you something back and say, okay, here's the place or anything like that, or you have to wait until the day of?
No, they said that they would send an email. I checked my email while we have been on the call. I have not received an email. So as of right now, I'm not invited.
That sucks.
Yeah, tell Teresa. Yeah, put up the flyer.
Yeah, yes, Teresa, put the flyer up so everybody can see.
People can use the flyer, the QR code.
So the bigger question is, why is this a Joe Biden 2020? They don't want people to know what's going on. They want fewer voters instead of more voters. That's what it appears like.
So, and when you say limited seating, that says to me, so Councilwoman Mary Sheffield, she's going to have her crew with her. Fred Durhal going to have his crew with him. Everybody's going. So those people have.
And it should be for the people,
huh?
It should be for the people, not the supporters of the candidates.
Absolutely, but there can be an argument made that these are the people. These are the people. These are the people who support me. I'm the candidate. So what's wrong with that? That could be an argument.
They want fewer voters, not more voters.
Well, they're already dealing with
2021.
And look, they're already dealing with fewer voters if we go by the turnout in the last few years. So what difference does it make? I don't think I like this. I don't like this at all. I'm just really surprised because when you sent me this
particularly for the first event after the deadline for filing.
Right. And they know that people are really excited about this because we have, the people that they have listed here. Listen, I think I've said this continuously. I think that we're very fortunate to have such great competition as people that are very well qualified to run the city of Detroit. But this rollout is just real bold. This is very bold. I don't like this at all.
How about we have a site?
At all, because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
I'm sorry.
No, what it also tells me is they're not going to. They're going to have some already questions that
people.
Exactly. That's a problem. That is a real problem. And guess what? Those of you that are watching Detroit Black and White, you guys should be raising sand about that. True Sensation says this is why the turnout is low. Citizens don't feel like they have a voice. And you're absolutely correct. I'm just shocked that these people were going for this.
I was going to suggest.
The optics are interesting. If we look at that, if you put it back up, Teresa, I think the optics are very interesting. You have Councilwoman Mary Sheffield first, and everybody says that she is the person to beat. Then you have Attorney Todd Perkins, and then you have Chief Craig. I think that's very interesting because when we talked last week, Adolph said, and I agree, that if we had a top three, then certainly James Craig is going to be part of that top three. Then after him, you have Santil Jenkins. The optics is just very interesting. Woman, man, woman, man. Interesting.
I'm going to suggest the city owns a facility I believe the city owns a facility on the river. It's called the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater.
Right.
That if you couldn't get inside the 5,000 seats, you could stand around and still listen to what was going on. So we have this beautiful.
What you said?
Look at Marlon Holt's last comment.
Yeah,
Shannon
Shannon Sharp.
Sharp's from,
Yeah, he's in a little trouble. Our
a
friend
little trouble. We could talk about that if you want to. We could pivot to that in a minute, but yeah, Lord have mercy. This is just messed up. So I'll register after we get off. No, Kenlock. No, Kenlock is not on here. And you know what? He may not be on here for the very reason that we're talking about. He may say, listen, everybody should come. Everybody should be able to come. What is this going on here? I don't know what his rationale is, but I just think it's interesting. You have 6 and there's 9 candidates. And if you listen to the newspapers, if you read these op-eds and all of that, they say the 2 top contenders will be Mary Sheffield and Reverend Kenlock. So, and he's not even as of this invitation or an announcement or whatever you want to call it, his name isn't on there. Yep. So
what is on Queen Bee talking about?
She said, pivot is, were you all surprised by the amount of time he received? What Smith are you talking about? Queen Bee, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Is that the gentleman that just pled guilty? Or is his name Smith?
She said she is sorry, so I have no idea what she's talking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who she's talking about.
How about this, Vanessa and Eric? The people that watch this show are the voice of Detroit and Southeast Michigan. In Marlon's case, he's in Florida. They're the voice of America. How come why are they being silenced in Detroit and elsewhere?
Right. Mr. Duckett says his people, and I think he's talking about Reverend Kenlock and Sheffield's crew, could pack the audience. Absolutely. Yep. Oh, she's talking about the Riverfront guy. She's talking about the guy. Yeah, we knew that he had taken a plea. I don't know what did he get 18? No, he hasn't been sentenced. He hasn't been sentenced yet. So really, he took the plea. We've known for months now that he was going to take a plea. There was reports like last summer that he was taking a plea, but they wasn't even negotiating at that point in time. And now that he has taken a plea, it's going to be interesting because the lawyers are going to do sentencing memorandums, making their recommendation as to arguments as to how much time he should or should not get. So it's going to be very interesting. I stand on this, and I know you guys keep saying, get probably tired of me saying it. He's not the only person that's responsible for this. And that's too bad that you only have one person taking the fall. But,
But what would you say the sentencing guidelines are, Vanessa, for this crime?
I don't know. I know that they were talking about 18 years for this type of crime. So I don't know. I don't know what his mitigating factors are or anything like that. So, but I did read that it was 18 years. So that's a long time because he's 55 years old. By the time, even though federal time, you get some time shaved off, but by the time he gets out, he's going to be a seasoned man.
And we know Marlon's a born and bred Detroiter. In his heart, he's in Detroit. We get that. So thanks, Marlon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I you would say 5 to 7 or 3 to 6 or 6 to 10. He's not going to get 18 years.
But he ain't. You said 3 to 6. He ain't gonna get that either. That low? No, not at all. Absolutely not. Not at all.
He didn't get to keep anything, Queen Bee.
No, he don't get to keep nothing. Nothing at all. And Mr. Duckett said, yeah, he's going to Club Fed. Yeah, no. Jim, I'm sorry. That's too low of a number. No.
Do you think it's going to be more than 10 years?
It will probably be 10 to 12 years, I would guess. If they're asking for 18, and again, we don't know. Listen, unfortunately, we have to rely on, and I know one of our co-hosts get pissed when we say things like this, but we rely on the news, and the news a lot of times is skewed. A lot of times they put the narrative that they want us to have out. They don't give us all the information, so you really don't know. So you read, and you have to, as far as I'm concerned, you have to read in between the lines.
But let's talk about this for a second. You're a defender of people accused of crimes. I was a police officer for almost 28 years. Nobody cares about a stolen car. They only care about violence against other people, right? You get to court and you're representing somebody that's been accused of stealing a car, he's not, if he's going to prison, he's going to prison for a short period of time. So we're just talking about money here, right? All we're talking about
They
stealing
said
money.
it was a whole lot. We were just talking about money. It was a whole lot of money. We're talking about $40 million. That's a
$40
whole
million.
lot of money. I'm sorry.
I'm not,
but in federal court,
I don't know. I'm just saying, when you say 7 years, no. I really believe it's going to be more than 10 years. If the prosecutors are asking for 18, and wait a minute, let me back this thing up. Let me back this train up. I think I read, did his plea agreement say that they want 18 years? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
But we have to, as part of his plea agreement, during allocution, he would have to admit guilt and all that, right?
Yes, absolutely. But if his plea agreement contains, if it says, hey, you plead to this, you're going to get 18 years, then you know this, Jim, he'll get 18 years,
yes, but we have a governor.
We don't know. So I don't know. But
we have a governor of Illinois that was sentenced
years. No, he's not
40 years. We have a mayor of Detroit that was sentenced to whatever he was.
28.
Nonprofit. We're talking about the Riverfront Conservancy. We're talking about a story that's been in the news for like over a year and a half. There is no way he's going to be a very seasoned man by the time he gets out of here.
Okay.
By the time he gets out of there. And
I'm not suggesting he doesn't deserve it. I'm just suggesting to the courts that it's just money.
It's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, you got a point.
A whole lot of money that people are really, 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 really pissed about, because it was supposed to be money used for the beautiful conservancy. Stephanie Jackson, thank you so much for joining. She said years are based on amount of money. PSI give points for the amount which placed the defendant in certain sentencing guidelines. You're absolutely correct, Miss Stephanie Jackson. She's a new viewer of Detroit in Black and White. Hopefully she'll be joining us on Fridays as well as on Saturdays. So yeah,
he might deserve 50 years. I don't care if they put him in prison for 50 years, but I just don't
he
see
won't
it.
leave for 50 years. But they could give him life, but he's not. I mean, whatever his life is, but yeah. Marlon says the mayor, and I think he's talking about the former mayor of the city of Detroit. He got
as was the governor of Illinois. I think they were commuted. I don't think they were pardoned. They were commuted.
Yeah, they were commuted.
Right? Yeah. And Queen B says Ralph C. Wilson and the Kresge Foundation are not letting him get away with wasting their money. Thank you so much. Dorian Dinar says 18 years is 9 years in the feds, 1 year, 9 months. He'll owe $44 million when he gets out. He'll be 64. Where were the checks and balances at the conservancy? Derek, listen, I've said the same thing. What was the sense of even having a board if there was no checks and balances? That's some BS. It really, really.
And Derek brings up a great point, Jim, because without checks and balances, this is why what he did was allowed to happen. But under the same token, as a board, somebody, and I'll use my fraternity as an example. The money in his public knowledge, $7 million that was embezzled from Kappa Psi. And my thing is, when you have a board, $7 million. So when you have a board of directors that has been AOKing financial reports, they are just as fucking culpable. And that's what people need to understand. A board votes on various committees. I came from a board meeting myself. We have to vote on the financial report, even though you just vote to accept it, audit. So other people are culpable as well.
Listen, as a board member, let me say this. Not only do you...
Yeah, you're on board. Yeah, right.
You look at the report, you ask questions. That's your job. As a board director, your duty is to ask questions. You mean to tell me that wasn't done in how many years was it? Did say he did it for 14 years?
Yeah, for 14 years or something like that. I mean, how do you not know this, that amount of money?
I'm not buying it. But guess what? They don't care that we're not buying it, because guess what? They got somebody to cop a plea, and guess what? They're going on about their merry old way. And when I look out the window every day, construction continues to go on. on the riverfront. It's going to be beautiful.
And
when
I think why it's not as outraged about this is private money. It's not public money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The public money, I'm sure, because these came from Foundation, Kresge Foundation. So they have a different type of perspective than had it been like Kwame Kilpatrick, public money that was allegedly stolen.
Well, he also had a nonprofit. It was just a whole bunch of stuff going on with that situation. But let's pivot to something that's a little bit more upbeat, but I think it's just as sad. One of our viewers said something about, Stephanie Jackson says, so they selected who they want to be charged. Oh yeah, it was selective. Absolutely, it was selective.
I agree with that.
Somebody in the comments section said something about Shannon Sharp. What in the heck do you guys think about that? Because I have my thoughts on it. What do you think about that?
I mean, I
go ahead, Eric.
Simple word for it.
What?
Dumbassness. Dumbassness. You can't come up with any other word. Huh?
On whose part?
Both of their parts, because you look at some of the text messages they have for her and some of the text messages you have for him. I mean, shit. Well, I don't know her. Her text message is she was a freak.
19 years old.
She's still grown.
Okay, so wait a minute. I'm sorry. A 19-year-old with a 55, 56-year-old man. I'm sorry. There's a great disparity in age. There's a great disparity in maturity. There's a great disparity in control.
You can't say they're great. No, Vanessa. You can't say that there's a great disparity in maturity.
I said it.
No, you can't. But obviously, she's not. You saying on the one hand, you saying she's only 19, saying that she's not mature, and you saying there's a great disparity in maturity. He's not mature either. So both of them have maturity issues.
Listen to me.
Did you read some of the text messages from her? I did.
To me, I don't give a dang on what her messages say. My point is this: she's 19.
Thank you, Sheila. It doesn't matter where she is.
So listen. As far as I'm concerned, I look at him like he a pedophile. You looking at a 19-year-old, a 19-year-old? Are you kidding me? I bet you could have a problem if it was your 19-year-old daughter.
So what about
it was a problem, Vanessa? Here's the problem.
Around with a leash on her neck and she crawling on the floor doing all that crazy BS.
But Vanessa, you said here's the problem.
Wait a minute. He did all.
He found her on OnlyFans. What is that? That's what he first found her on. So he knew what he was getting into.
So you say it's okay?
What I'm saying is the venue for which they met. It is okay because he knew he was paying for something. He paid for something.
You need to tell me because, and I'm you saying because she's grown at 19 that what occurred was okay.
Yes, because he knew what she was doing. He knew it.
Martha said she's grown. And Sheila, Miss Sheila, I agree with you. He's a groomer. I'm sorry.
How's he a groomer? He didn't know her until he met her on Facebook.
I'm sorry. I agree. This the same dude. Wasn't he a few months ago? Supposedly his phone went off Instagram and you heard him and his exploits. Get out of here.
But how's he a groomer?
With $10 million because I understand he settled it today. He did all that.
How is he a groomer?
Oh, it's settled?
That's what I saw today. Supposedly it's settled. Let me make sure. But I saw earlier today, supposedly he settled for $10 million. So
no, that's what she turned down $10 million.
Hold on a second. Oh,
that was the original.
He offered her $10 million.
And Derek Henry hit the nail on the head. I read some of the messages, and I agree with Derek Henry. She's a fucking freak.
Y'all read some of the messages because y'all nasty.
No, I read messages because they were made public.
I'm just playing.
So this is a relationship between two consenting adults. Would you defend him if he was charged with rape?
Oh my God. No. Ladies, fathers, weigh in on this. I'm sorry. I have a problem with it. I'm sorry. I have a whole problem
with it. Vanessa.
I just told you my issue. She's 19. He's close to 60. He's close to your age. He's close to 60. There's a great
So do you have a problem?
What would you charge him with criminally?
Dynamics. I'm sorry. No.
What would you charge him with criminally?
He's lucky. I'm sorry.
What would you charge him with criminally?
Nothing. Because he committed a crime.
Unless there's some other things that's going on that we don't know about. Okay. If he locking her up in the closet and doing stuff like that, who knows? I don't know. But right now, it's just a civil matter. Now, I'm checking to see. You said she turned down $2 million. I'm getting ready to do my search.
If she was smart, she would take the money and run, because he has a very good chance of being exonerated in this case.
Somebody said you jealous, Vanessa.
Vanessa is jealous of a 19-year-old. Listen, y'all want me to get up and show off. I'm not jealous of a 19-year-old. I'm very seasoned and very happy being seasoned. And trust me, I have no problems whatsoever.
So, Vanessa, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on Bill Belichick, who is the former coach of New England Patriots, current coach of the University of North Carolina football team? His girlfriend is 24 years old.
I had the same problem. Well, let me tell you something. I know I have the same problem. Listen, groomer, you a wacko, you a sicko, you crazy. Listen, when we
Vanessa, how is Shannon a groomer? How's Shannon a groomer?
Where were we? We went to London for the International Association of Political Consultants. We were there a couple years ago. Anyway, we knew about, because the girlfriend's girl was there at the conference talking about this old man and this young lady. Listen, we talked about this the other day about young ladies presenting themselves as being older. We're talking about kid. At 19, you're a kid. I don't care what you say. At 19, you're a kid. And why was she on OnlyFans? She's trying to make some money. What was going on at home? Who knows? But I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't like him anyway. But he is sick. He's a wacko. I'm sorry. And guess what? What you said, Vanessa, he knows what? He knows she's a girl being led. Absolutely. Absolutely. And no, I'm not jealous. I'm just glad it's not my daughter, my niece, my cousin, or my friend's kid. I'm sorry. 19, you're not even mature. Brain science says that you're not even mature until the age of 26. Did you
25?
25. Did you listen to the voice message? Did you listen to those?
Let me tell you guys a quick little story.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting because if you're a fan of the 10 Commandments, you know, the movie, there's a guy in the 10 Commandments. He played Joshua. His name was John Derek. Are you familiar with John Derek? The old timers out there that are tuned in are probably familiar with John Derek. He was a big muscle guy back in whenever that was made, the 40s or the 50s. Well, he had this young little girlfriend. So he and her name eventually was Bo Derek. They moved to Europe.
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
They moved to Europe because she was 15 or 16 years old, and he was 50 or 60 or whatever he was. Mm-hmm. Well, and they came back when she was 18, and he married her in the United States because where they were in Europe, it was acceptable for a 60-year-old man to be with a 15-year-old woman. So this is nothing new. The only difference is she's a consenting adult. The woman known as Bo Derek was not you would argue she was not a consenting adult.
Yeah, I thought that was sick too. I remember the guy with the cowboy hat, and he looked like his lips were chapped from the blistering wind in Colorado. I had a problem with that. I have a problem with all of them. I have a problem with Elvis Presley, with the Priscilla Presley. She was 14 years old when he started kicking it with her. I had a problem with Jerry Lee Lewis. All of them sick, wackos, kids.
Woody Allen.
Willie Allen. I don't care if she's 19. If she was 19 and 6 months old, I don't care. I'm sorry.
R. Kelly. Vanessa. R. Kelly.
And he's where he's
a lot about her age, though.
Chuck Berry, Ike Turner. I mean,
Ike Turner.
Ike Turner. What you mean? Ike Turner was with who? I think Tina.
Everybody.
Was Anna Mae. Anna Mae was grown.
She was not.
No, when you first time messing with Anna Mae, she wasn't.
I don't know. And he was a wacko too if he did that.
I mean, look at Woody
Right.
Allen. Woody Allen has a long history of pedophilia.
Hold on a minute. I'm looking this up.
Roman Polanski. Where do we stop?
Donald Trump, Bill
And
Clinton, Donald Hugh Hefner. I mean, we can go down a whole list of these mugs.
Absolutely, 14 years old. We can even go to somebody another artist that I like, James Brown. He was messing around with Tammy Terrell when she was like 14 and 15 years old. You sick. You were sick, sir. You're
whack. It doesn't make it illegal in some cases.
Exactly. So no, Vanessa not kicking it. Funny. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But he wasn't still Vanessa. He was not grooming her because he met her on OnlyFans. You got to be a certain age to even have OnlyFans account.
She was somebody with a leash on their neck and she crawling on the floor.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm sorry. That's what you do with a pet. That's what you do with a pet. Okay? That's what you do with a pet. I'm sorry. No, she's 19 years. Listen, you could tell me that and you could say it as loud as you want to. And I'm sorry for getting so loud. I apologize. Absolutely, you're not going to change my position. He is sick. And guess what? I think he's a liar too. I think he's a big liar. That whole thing with the Instagram lying, the whole thing about, this lawyer is a shakedown. Listen, first of all, it's bad press. You get on television, you say, listen, this lawyer is an ambulance chaser. He very well may be, but dog, you offered $10 billion. And when she said, no, you give me some more money, then you decide you're going to go on television. This is a shakedown. No, dude, you are sick. Why don't you just write the check, okay? And get somebody your own age that you could put a leash around their neck and walk around like they're a pet.
You got people that's into that.
So what?
Put us into that, so I mean, don't judge them.
I can judge them. Look,
so it was a transaction, right? This was transactional. That's what people
say. Okay, so so this is
she was trying to get money from him, and he was too dumb not to realize it. I mean, you can say whatever you want.
At the gym, right? He at the gym working out. He met her at the gym. He sees some 19-year-old. Hey, give me your number. Look,
old enough.
I'm not. Listen. This is the same dude who show went through the roof because of all these interviews. I'd like to see who's going to have him on their podcast and how many viewers they get and how much money they get.
Somebody said you upset about the extracurricular activity.
Detroit Black and White, huh? Somebody said what?
Vanessa, somebody said, are you upset about the extracurricular activity?
Is she me? Is she upset?
Are you upset about that?
Absolutely not. No.
He probably thought it was animal. He probably thought it was going to cost him $100,000, $150,000. It's going to cost him $10 million. It was a bad decision on his part. He probably thought, yeah, I'll buy her a diamond necklace. I'll buy her whatever. She'll run around the house and do whatever I tell her to do. And if I give her $20,000, she'll be happy. Well, he was wrong. She wanted a little more money.
Well, listen, he's going to pay the money. He's going to pay more than money because, trust me, his reputation has taken a big hit. And I just can't see not Vanessa. That's right. Not Vanessa. That's right. Oh, she says she's not talking about me. She's
Stephanie, you ain't got to be scared of Vanessa. Vanessa probably can't even fight.
What? I'm not. No, I'm a lover. I'm telling Stephanie. I can't take up for myself.
I'm telling Stephanie she ain't got to be scared of you. If she said what she said, you can't even fight.
No. I think Derek needs to be on his show because Derek has said the most intelligent stuff out of all of it.
He said, according to the text message, the leash was her suggestion.
And Derek also said freaks going to be freaks. And I think that's it in a nutshell.
And that's true.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not with it. I'm sorry.
Matter of fact, when Shannon Sharp come on ESPN tomorrow, he need to play the Houdini record, Freaks Come at Night.
And Marlon, most of these
people, and you know what, Marlon? I believe that he said he has another case. Now, listen, what's going to be interesting is this going to be Pandora's box and other women come out against this guy. I'm tired. I'm sorry. This is going to be I think it's
come out in which way? You talking about this is different from This is not a sexual harassment, sexual assault situation.
No,
This is,
but if you
this
have
is
these
consenting.
sponsors, you're on ESPN, you have these sponsors, they don't want this guy on ESPN every day, and you got one chick after another coming out saying he did this, that, and the third to them. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that at all.
Why didn't
They
you go to the
don't.
police?
Because
no crime was committed.
as you say, Mr. Officer, it was not illegal. It wasn't a crime. Okay? That's why she didn't go.
So this case is only about them having sex and him going a little too far.
No, it's not. That's how you look at it because you're a man. It really is, as far as I'm concerned, it's about power and control. I'm sorry.
No, I don't doubt that.
It is. It is. It's about
power and control. It's power and control that she agreed to.
The person who has the purse controls the narrative, and you know that. You know that.
She agreed to being.
You know. No, I ain't gonna mess with you, but you know, the person who controls the purse controls the narrative. You know that.
She was a consenting adult.
She was a 19-year-old.
He paid her for a service. When you go get your car detailed, when you go get your car washed, when you go get your oil change, you're paying for a service.
Let me say this. If I say, okay, and I'm not going to say that, I'm just using this, Jim, you could put a leash around my neck. That does not mean that you get to take the leash and yank the leash and make it tight, or that you get a chance to hold the leash around my neck and spank my behind. That does not mean that. Okay?
You better read her text messages.
What? You know,
you better. I think Backpage is right. Needs to move on here.
It was a crime, Day. I didn't say it was a crime. I don't like it, and guess what? I'm glad that this bozo, and I called him a bozo. I called him other things if I wasn't on the air, but I'm glad that he's been exposed because he tried to act like he this upright guy and I don't do nothing. You know, I can't stand the way he talks, by the way. I cannot stand it, but I can't. But yes.
You sound like you got some biases.
Then he made it. Yeah, this is a shakedown. They're taking down another black man. Listen. And you know what?
Truth to that.
He said that. And guess what? The opposite can be said. Listen, you're taking advantage of a young white girl.
They can both be true, Vanessa. They can both be true.
Get out of here.
They can both be true. He took advantage of her and she's extorting him for it.
Right. How do you take advantage of
extortion? Extortion is a crime.
How do you take advantage of a white girl? If it was a black girl.
No, he said he started it. That's extra, Vanessa. What's extra, Marlon? She wants money. What's extra, Marlon? She should have put the instructions in right. Stephanie said she should have put the instructions in writing.
I like it.
Right. Dorian says, I agree with you, Vanessa. That he's a self-righteous asshole, but he's being shaken down for money. Yes, he is. Stephanie said he pulled the leash too tight. But that's true. But yeah, he is a self-righteous butthole. And I do not.
Let's not talk about that part.
I don't give a heck about him at all. Okay, I just thought that would be fun to talk about him. What else did we want to talk about?
I want to talk about the amusement tax. I think it's interesting. I think it's amusing. Amusing is interesting that Mallory McMorrow and Sylvia Santana have decided that the ticket prices in Detroit are not enough, and they want to put a amusement tax on tigers and lions and bears. I get it. It's a little late in the game, but when tickets are $300, $400,
isn't Mary running for Senate?
They're both senators. They're both state senators.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
No, one is running for U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, Mallory McMorrow.
Right. She's been in office,
anointed,
and now she's already running for U.S. Senate. And who's the lady who's the other lady that's running?
Haley Stevens. Haley Stevens announced today.
That's right, because she had on
yesterday
a red jacket, and they made a big deal about that, saying she's a Dem trying to portray herself as a Republican because she had on red. Just
But
foolishness. But anyway, go ahead with the
2013,
inducement tax. Go ahead.
2011 or 13, when the city was going bankrupt, would have probably been a good time if you were going to put a amusement tax on some of these events. That would have been the time. Why now? And secondly, is this just a political ploy because the Republicans are in charge of the House, and they had Democrats in charge of both the Michigan House and Senate, and they had a Democratic governor here 6 months ago. So maybe it's just a political play. I don't know. It's in the
And what's
news.
interesting about that is, like you said, Jim, why now? You know, people are already complaining about the economy, but you then wanting to, because ticket prices for any entertainment event has gone up exponentially since COVID. Now you want to charge the people more?
And they're talking about $8 million
And guess
goes.
what? If they charge more, guess what? People gonna buy those tickets anyway. They don't care.
I agree.
People not gonna raise hell about that. They don't care. I talked to somebody the other day talking about they wanted to go see Chris Brown. I think they said the tickets for just a general seat was $500. Are you freaking kidding me? And they put a
I
tax on it?
watch Charlie Brown on
I'm not
CBS.
interested in going. But I'm just saying, yeah, it is. It probably is, Jim, what you said. It probably is a political ploy, political tactic. And, you know, like Eric says, why now? But guess what? People don't give a flying freak. They're going to pay it anyway.
So
They're going to pay it anyway.
In response to Edward, I believe it's a 3% amusement tax on baseball, football, hockey, and concerts in the city of Detroit. That's what's proposed, I believe.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
and he said, where would the tax money go?
I guess
Hey, Wano. Hey, Wano's World is watching. Hey, nephew. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the argument is that the city of Detroit doesn't receive anything when these events are held in Detroit, but the millions and millions of dollars that are spent, and I'd like to know what the lobbyists for the restaurant.
How they say that? How they say Detroit not receiving anything when there's a tax on tickets already, and then people are staying here, going to restaurants, and that, I mean, so I'm not sure what the rationale is for this.
Well, if they said that the Detroit doesn't get any revenue for that, I think it would be very beneficial if that in fact is the case. I don't know, so I'm not going to opine and say that, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. If that is true, though, I don't see a problem with it because I own a restaurant. I don't live in the city of Detroit, but I own a restaurant. We have all these events. You come and you buy this food and you buy these drinks and stuff like that. Most of the people working in restaurants don't even live in the city. They take their money and they go home. They take it right back to the community for which they belong. So, I mean, if this is a way for the city of Detroit to generate or get some revenue, I personally don't have a problem with it. And again, guess what? Those fans like yourself, Jim, who go to the baseball games, who go to the football games, you're going to pay it. You may fuss about it, but you're going to pay it. It doesn't make any difference. And people who like to go to concerts, they're going to pay that fee and keep it moving.
It's the bigger point, Vanessa. It's the Democrats that keep the tax and spend Democrats that people are getting.
Look, now when you talk about the Democrats, you talk about my family. You can't be talking about my cousins and them. You can't talk about them.
Just keep talking, Jim.
Let's just collect more money so we can spend it somewhere else.
If you're going to talk about Democrats and Republicans, let's talk about all the Republicans who said that they believe in fiscal responsibility, which is something I definitely believe in, right?
You said fiscal responsibility or fiscal responsibility?
Listen, they act like, look how much debt we have in these United States, and the Republicans does not give a care. So we're not going to turn this into a Democratic Republican.
It's been debt under both parties, been in the White House. What you talking about?
They're just as good. The Republicans are just as good at wasting your money. I'm not.
And you're going to make me mad. So then, you know what? Then you won't be on the show again.
The Republicans are just as good at wasting your money, but but the Democrats keep collecting it, and the Republicans
get mad and start coughing so I could call 911 for you.
Right. Society runs off taxes. Tax them. That's what.
Okay, that's the right. Not a bad perspective.
Jim. Marlon Holt says Senator wastes money on a trip to El Salvador prison, but our prisons are loaded. Now he ain't lying about that. That
Right.
is the truth. That is absolutely.
But that's just a dog and pony show to, and like somebody said that if the Democratic Party is choosing to make a martyr out of this guy, it's going to backfire on him.
Somebody else asked Jim, somebody just Mike Evans said, where would the money be going?
Just to the city of Detroit. That's
just
all.
To the city of Detroit. Okay.
And
so to the city of Detroit for what? To do what? What are they going to do with the money?
They're talking about protect the money that it costs to protect the people that attend these events, and
improve the schools.
No, I don't think they were talking about the schools.
No, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I know. Being sarcastic.
Me too. I don't think that's in the plan.
That's not a priority, right?
It's proposed legislation in the Michigan Senate, I believe, right now. That's all. There is no vote on it. They're just.
No, it's not a way to eliminate property tax. They're not getting rid of property tax. That's for sure.
Derek's right again. Derek's on fire tonight. Thank you.
No, Eric. No, he paid them people to come in here and make those kind of comments. Don't believe that. Don't believe that at all. Eric is not right. And let me say this.
Derek, I said.
You said Derek. You so busy. She got Eric on the mind. You said Derek.
I don't have Eric on the mind. I'm sorry, Derek.
And he enunciated pretty well. He said Derek.
He did not say. Well, did you?
Yes,
hear
he
anything?
did.
No, did you hear anything? No, you did not. You're reading, sir. You're reading, sir.
Can we talk about the Pope for a minute?
I heard you refer to the wrong person.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Nardone.
We went from Shannon Sharp. We're going to move all the way over to the other end and talk about the Pope for a minute.
How you gonna go from hell to heaven?
Yeah.
And I know that the Pope is not everybody's Pope, and he's not my Pope. I'm not Catholic, but
I'm not Catholic either. I went to Catholic school though.
But I think it's really interesting, and I think he's
just still standing.
Go ahead.
I think he's a historical figure for a few things. I think it's interesting that he kind of supported the LGBTQ community and allowed for blessing of same-sex couples, denouncing laws that criminalize homosexual activity. He did not come out and recognize same-sex marriage, but I think you could say that he was a progressive pope. And when he talked about immigration, he said it. Let me see if I can read this real quick. He said he made the first Latin American pope made caring for migrants a priority of his pontificate, demanding that countries welcome, protect, promote, and integrate those fleeing conflict, poverty, and climate disasters. And then he also said anyone who builds a wall to keep out migrants is not a Christian. So I'm not saying I agree or disagree with him. He also said that we should be able to protect ourselves from the criminal element. But I think that he was a progressive pope in a lot of ways. And I think...
how old was he?
Yeah, I think so.
How old was he?
Oh, how old was he?
He was 80-something, wasn't he?
88.
Yeah, okay. 88. That's what I thought.
Okay.
And he's from Argentina, so that was a different thing.
Right.
I just thought I thought it was an interesting take on the world from the Pope.
I'm going to keep my mouth closed on this.
Well, no, don't. I mean, if you think he was a bad...
I will, because I don't want to, and I'm serious now. I don't want to polarize people or anything. I agree with you. I think it was pretty progressive. He's 88 years old. So, the reason I ask him, like, did he really write that, or did somebody else write that for him? Are those really his views, or are those the views of somebody that was helping him out? I don't know. But I just find it very, very interesting, especially in light of the climate that we live in now. Listen, I don't hate anybody. Listen, I don't. And I think people are people, and you do what you do. But there are some things that's going on that I am in total lock and step with. So, I'll leave it like that, and people can read in between the lines.
Eric, do you want to weigh in?
I mean, he was very progressive, as you stated. And I mean, I would disagree with you, Vanessa, based on his stances. I think he, as an 88-year-old, believed in what he believed in. I don't think he made it political. Those were his beliefs. And unlike the former president that had people signing his name, he actually signed his name to the documents that he believed in.
You know, you weren't there. You don't know that.
I know Joe Biden signed his damn name on a lot of that stuff.
Well, you don't know that either. You weren't
yes,
there.
I do.
You
Joe Biden don't even know his name.
Go ahead. I don't know why you beat
See,
up
Marlon Holt. He said, "You mean like Biden?"
I don't even know why you beat up on a man that you don't even know. And this,
how many politicians?
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
How many politicians? Hold up, y'all be on here beating up on Donald Trump regularly, and y'all don't know him.
I don't beat up on a man regularly because guess what? Neither one of them are doing really much for me. Okay, so no, I don't. But I really don't understand the hate. I really don't. I think you're the opposite of somebody else. That man.
No, I'm not. No, I have reasons. You know, I had
space in your head.
I had this conversation with someone today with regard to Joe Biden. I have reasons to dislike him as a black man. I have many reasons to dislike him as a black man. Okay. Him calling black men boys, him referring to black neighborhoods as urban jungles, him referring to the black community or black people as super predators. I have plenty of reasons to dislike. I don't hate him, but I have a great disdain for him as a black man. And I don't have to know him. His actions has caused me to dislike him. Just like Trump's actions has caused so many others to dislike him. And they don't know him.
One of them, right?
Huh?
You're not one of them. You like Trump, right?
No, I don't like Trump. I've never voted for Trump. I've never voted for Biden.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I'm just saying this guy sure does occupy a space in your head rent free.
As a black man, he does occupy a space in my head.
Told Eric,
the 1991 Police Bill of Rights, the 1994 Crime Bill. Yes, he does occupy a space in my head as a black man.
Joe Smitten, LOL. Marlon says you met Trump. Derek said it might be time for African Pope. Oh, wow, that's interesting. The Lord appoints kings president. Trump will go down as the best president in history. Well, you know what, Day? There's somebody I know that would agree with you, but who knows?
Allan? Are you talking about Allan?
I won't be here. Biden doesn't know Biden nowadays. That's interesting.
Okay. It's funny how you got down. Will go down. I think you misspelled a little something there because you said ass.
Oh, he said. Oh,
I don't know if that's a typo or a slip.
Oh, okay.
Is it going to go down as the best?
I think he meant. I don't think he meant double S.
I don't think so either. But yeah. I'm just teasing.
And then they say name one better. Okay. Well,
Mr. Judson, you need to read a few books out with regards to saying Trump saying that Biden signed his name.
I know, Day. I'm just messing with you a little bit.
Well, it is 9:28. We got 2 more minutes. So I'm going to go around and have people. First of all, let me say this. Thank you guys so much for joining in the comments. But I'm going to have you do your last comment for the evening. Eric, what is it that you want to say?
I agree with Derrick Henry. I'm going to say it and say it succinctly. Biden told me that I was black and I didn't believe him. That's why I didn't vote for him.
He said you were colored.
Color, black, same thing. We know what he meant.
I thought he said you were brown. I thought he said you were.
He didn't say brown.
But anyway, go ahead.
I just said my final thought.
All right, Jim, your final thoughts.
I want to say thank you to all our colleagues out there participating tonight. And I just want to quickly say this isn't about Democrats and Republicans. It's about those of us that are neither on that side or that side. Nobody represents us, and it doesn't appear that anybody is going to represent us. And that's the unfortunate part. Who represents the middle? Right.
So I'm going to ask if Teresa can put the forum information up. So because we had viewers who said that they wanted to know about the forum. The forum is this Saturday. The 6 people that you see on the side, Councilwoman Mary Sheffield, Councilman Fred Dorhall, the Honorable Santil Jenkins, Attorney Todd Perkins, former Police Chief James Craig, and business owner Jonathan Barlow. It would be Saturday, April 26, 2025. You have to do this, you have to scan or the QR code for the virtual registration. Eric says that they ask you questions like who invited you. You need to know that there's limited seating and virtual option is available. So I think it's interesting. We weren't invited. Detroit Black and White, the crew wasn't invited. But guess what? It's time for us to say good night. We will see you guys again Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. And if you have any comments, questions, feel free to do that. Join us again. And thank you so much. Detroit Black and White. See you Friday night.